Well, folks, welcome back for week 5 of building construction for the fire service. I've got a fairly short briefing for you this week. You're going to be looking at about the first half of Chapter 5 in the IFSTA book, which covers fire dynamics. You won't have a quiz this week. That's a somewhat lengthy chapter, and there's a lot of content associated with it. So you'll actually finish the rest of Chapter 5 next week, and at that point you'll be taking the quiz on the entire chapter. For this week, several items on your agenda here in Blackboard. First thing is video with Chief Vincent Dunn. This is going to look at wood frame building collapse. And I do want to comment, I understand, I've become aware of the fact that the video that was linked to in last week's Blackboard session was actually a video I think you guys saw the first week of class. There was a little bit of an error with some of the hyperlinks. We're working with the tech folks here to get that resolved. And when I get the correct video, we'll actually go back and watch it, or I'll insert it in a later week. You'll get to see the video at any rate. In addition to Chief Dunn's video, I would like you to watch this other video that's available through week 5 in Blackboard. This is a study that was commissioned by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives of a firefighter line of duty death in Baltimore, Maryland. And it does a good job of illustrating the role of understanding fire dynamics. So fire dynamics is kind of this scientific study of the behavior of fire. And this study of 30 Dowling circles is a good example how understanding how fire behaves can help us reconstruct what went wrong. Of course, really the objective is that you understand how fire behaves so that you can see these kind of incipient signs that, hey, things are about to go bad, and you can leave the area. The last thing I have for you this week is there's a link to a preview of the National Construction Safety Team reports, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that and navigate to that web page right now. So the story is the federal government investigates bad incidents and accidents in a lot of industries, and kind of the classic example of that is the National Transportation Safety Board that investigates plane crashes, train derailments, things of that nature. And NTSB is as good as it gets. They are a generation ahead of the fire service in terms of understanding why bad things happen. Another parallel effort that hasn't been around quite as long as the NTSB, but is also right at the top of the field, would be the Chemical Safety Board, which again is a federally funded agency that investigates accidents with chemicals. So, for instance, refinery explosions, hazmat leaks, things like that. In recent years, and much more recent years, the federal government, through the National Institute of Standards and Technology, has formed the National Construction Safety Team. And this is a team that basically looks at failures in the constructed environment. So if you look at the page as it shows on the screen here, you can see on the left side they have studies by hazard type. And basically what's happened is when a building fails, the feds will send technical experts to the site of the failure and conduct an investigation to try and understand why the failure occurred. Same way the NTSB would send technical experts to look at why a plane crashed. You folks will be reviewing one of these NCST reports and basically constructing your own research paper in the second half of the class. So basically weeks 8 through 16. Each week you'll be submitting a section of that paper, which I will then review, and you'll get to make revisions to, and then in the final week you'll assemble the entire paper and turn it in. What you can do for this week is you can start to look through some of these reports and preview and see if there's a report that you'd like to do your study on. And so you can see that the NCST has broken all of the different event types into blast and impact events. So basically explosions, or something flies into a building, something crashes into a building. Construction and in-service failures. So there have been a lot of accidents during the construction of buildings where the building collapsed because it wasn't complete. There have been some in-service failures, some of which you've seen in this class. For instance, the Kansas City Hotel Skywalk was an in-service failure, right? Building was fully constructed. It didn't collapse until it saw its first significant live load. In fact, the largest construction accident in the history of the United States in terms of fatalities was the Willow Island nuclear power plant cooling tower, which was a construction, during construction type failure, where they were making lifts of concrete and they were moving forward too quickly before the concrete had time to set, and a cooling tower collapsed while it was under construction and killed 51 construction workers. So definitely the economic pressures during construction we see lead to failures. Earthquake type failures, that's pretty self-explanatory. Fires is probably most applicable to you, but don't feel like you have to take a study from the fires category. And then windstorms and coastal inundations, so basically hurricanes, flooding, high winds, things of that nature. If you click on one of these tabs, what it will do is it will take you to descriptions of various types of failures. Now, you want to be a little bit careful when you choose one of these. For instance, if you choose the analysis on the World Trade Center terrorist attack, that's a pretty lengthy and pretty robust report. There's a lot of analysis there, and you're certainly welcome to take that on as your project is if you would like, but understand that as you dive into this and you read all of the supporting documentation, that's going to become pretty rigorous. So at this point in the game, you're basically just looking through these 5 tabs, trying to find a report that's got enough content for you to do some analysis on and is of interest to you, and then as the weeks go by, we'll work on assembling the report. That's all I've got for you for this week. As always, if there's anything I can do to assist you in learning the content, please feel free to get in touch with me at the contacts listed in the syllabus, and best of luck.